Is that, oh man, I'm gonna make you read too. I'll calm down. Alrighty. Well, thank you all for joining me today. So this mindful eating nutrition class is going to be all about intermittent fasting. Just a disclaimer, like I do every time, is that I am a certified health and wellness coach. I do not take place of your doctor. I do not plan to take place of your doctor or dietitian or nutritionist. I am here to provide education for you to have and you can take forward to your practitioner and for you to be a patient advocate for yourself. Alrighty, so intermittent fasting. Why is that such a big deal? Why are people talking about it? What is it? Anyone have any insight?
It's very popular right now.
It is very popular. Why is it that? Why is it popular?
Well, some of the Hollywood people talk about it. That's a reason, right?
There you go, yeah.
To rid the body of some bad stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, come on in. You can take a seat anywhere. Okay.
People have had some success with that, I guess.
People have had, yeah. Success with weight loss is what you're going to hear intermittent fasting the most. Now I want to hand you this. There you go. Yes, so there are a lot of healing and body restorative benefits when it comes to fasting. 16-8 is a really popular one. However, you can fast.
Sure.
Okay. I was going to say, you could sit right there on the...
Are you there?
Yeah, or on that machine, the have an adductor right there. However you want, you can chill. Yeah. Usually I have people just hanging all over places. So, however, so for the healing and body restorative benefits is why people do fasting. So fasting, the most popular is intermittent one, where it's a 16-hour fast and then an 8-hour, what's called feeding period. However, people fast for days, you know, for religious purposes or for their own like cleansing of the body. But for today, we're going to talk about the 16-8. If you want more information about different types of fasting and how to go about that, Dr. Jockers has a great quick start guide. However, it's not a quick read. It's like 45 pages long, but it does give you all the information that you could possibly want about, you know, the different styles of fasting. So, we're going to go with the 12 biggest reasons of why fasting can be important to you and could help and benefit you. So the first one is it stimulates fat burning. How do you think fasting can help you stimulate fat burning?
Well, because what if you're not feeding it, you're feeding, then it has to the body has to burn energy from something.
Absolutely.
So it'll take first the fat and then it starts in the fat.
Yep, absolutely. So glucose is readily available. Everything that we eat is going to stimulate an elevation in our glucose in our bloodstream. The body knows that that is toxic at high levels, so it's going to utilize it first. That is an easy source. Okay, so when that source is no longer available for the body to utilize, it will start utilizing the fatty acids in your body, the fat, fat storage. When the body actually starts to do that, ketones are produced by the liver. So this is where you have nutritional ketosis come in. Are you familiar with ketosis, like from the ketogenic diet? Is that term? Okay. So ketones can actually, it creates 14 times more cellular energy and then glucose. So that's why you'll see like a lot of athletes do the ketogenic diet or fasting or making sure that their body is producing larger amounts of ketones. But that is for when the body switches from sugar being the main fuel into fat being the main fuel source in the body. And what you get also from that is not also increased energy, but improved in your mood, mental clarity, and even creativity. So that right there is a really big benefit for a lot of people. And which goes into how it improves energy levels. So,
may I ask,
yeah.
At the risk of it being a little weird to ask, all of a sudden your urine can smell different, and I've
Yep.
heard people reference that. Is that what you're talking about with ketosis?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so that's a sign then that maybe you're doing something good and that you've moved beyond the sugar in your
Yep.
bloodstream for energy.
Yep.
That really is.
Yeah. You'll definitely, you'll be able to. There will be a difference in your urine and also your breath.
Yeah.
Which may not be so pleasant for some people, but you know, there's oil pooling, saltwater rinsing, you know, it can help with that. But yeah, you're definitely right there. So what are some other benefits of fasting? Whether you're reading it from the board or your paper, I gave you all the answers.
Reduces inflammation.
That's right, reduces inflammation in the body. How does fasting reduce inflammation in the body? Any ideas?
Just because certain foods you eat might be causing the inflammation in the first place. So if you're going for a longer period of time without eating those foods.
Bingo, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So there are foods that we kind of talked about last month that people have sensitivities to and they don't realize it, or that, you know, food in general, when we spike our glucose, even if it's, you know, I brought bananas this time, they're on the green side, they're a little less than sugar, but you know what, if you eat a whole thing, you know, a whole batch of bananas, your glucose is going to go sky high and it's going to cause inflammation in the body, okay? So whenever we can lower inflammation in the body, lower, you know, our glucose levels, our carb intake, you know, even certain, you know, medications, you know, maybe we are sensitive to high sugar, high carbs, or certain foods, and we have to take ibuprofen or Tylenol. They also cause, even though they lower inflammation, they cause inflammation in other areas of the body. So, you know, you don't want to take, you know, too much Tylenol, you know, you get, or ibuprofen, because it can, you know, adverse affect your kidneys and your liver. So you're still creating inflammation in the body, just in a different way. So what's another one?
When you're fasting, you don't give in to so many of the cravings, like the mindless eating.
That's right, yeah, absolutely. So when you are doing, you know, fasting, you're looking for more of your healthier fats to help keep you going, because fat is the last thing that leaves the digestive tract, so it helps you keeping you fuller and longer. Fats also have the same, works with the brain the same way like sugar does, like creating those endorphins. So like for me, I have got my body to where I don't really crave a lot of sweets, although what Debbie gave me is really good. However, it is high fat. It was a keto like bomb type thing. Very good. But I will crave like Alfredo sauce. Like I'll make my own homemade with like cream cheese and butter and whole milk or whole like whipping cream and all, you know, Parmesan cheese. I mean, it's like fat on top of fat on top of fat, and that is like, it's like heaven for me. But it does, again, it creates those endorphins and everything, as opposed to some people who would like, you know, I really want that chocolate pie or whatever that would be. So yeah, you can switch. Yeah, absolutely. All right, what's another one?
I see stimulates cellular autophagy, but I don't know what that is.
Right, cellular autophagy. I say that wrong every freaking time. Yes. So what that does is that the body is taking your old, damaged, abnormal cells, and it is recycling them to be for newer cells, okay, for healthier cells. So when the body cannot do that, then we are left with these dead, old, abnormal cells floating around our body. What do you think that can do to us over time?
Cancer.
Exactly, yeah. So fasting is actually linked to help lowering your risk of certain cancers, tumors, lifestyle diseases. Yeah, absolutely. Another one?
Improved mental health.
That's right, improves mental health. So we get that also from ketones, but also the way you eat. So when we fast, we don't just willy-nilly fast, do we? Kinda? I don't know. How do we do it? Anyone know?
What was the question again?
How do we fast? So it's supposed to help improve our mental health. How does fasting help improve our mental health? Besides nutritional ketosis. Well, it could be an
Obviously,
option.
allows you time to do other things.
Yep.
Good at not eating.
There you go. There you go. So take a mental health break,
Mental health break.
self-care. That's right. That's right. So also your way that you eat will change. And there are different foods that actually help with your mental health, like your certain B vitamins, like your B3, your B6, methylfolates. So you'll end up getting more of those in your body, in your system, and that will help improve your mental health.
Just from fasting, you get more B12 and
No, you have your food, the way you eat changes
Oh.
to where you then
Okay.
incorporate more of those food groups
Okay.
in. Yeah. But no, when you do fast, you produce more ketones, and being in ketosis actually helps with mental clarity. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else? Did we miss?
I like that it just gives your gut a chance to rest.
Yes,
You know,
that is a big one.
That you just, which I think that I like that one.
Yeah. So that ties off with the gut health of what we had last month. So this will actually, when you take that time off your digestive system, it does, kind of goes to sleep. It's still kind of active in the background, but not as heavily. It takes so much energy for our digestive system to be continuously working, continuously breaking down those foods and absorbing and doing all the necessary things that it needs to do. However, when we can take those 12, 16 plus, 24 hours, it's actually going to help be able to repair. So it helps a lot with people who have like leaky gut syndrome. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Did we make it through the list? There's another one I'll point out, may be a given, but improves insulin sensitivity. So kind of piggybacking off of a lot of other things that we have stated. So if you feel like, your doctor's told you maybe you're close to being pre-diabetic, or if you are pre-diabetic, fasting might be something that you could talk to your doctor about. When you're taking different medications and such, you always talk to your doctor about fasting. But for people who are type 1 diabetic, it is not necessarily recommended. However, you can talk to your doctor and see if you could do that or not, if you're doing it for like weight loss or however. Children, it's not a very good idea for a 24-hour fast, but they're normal fasting, within if they're sleeping for 10 to 12 hours, which if they are when they're young, that is perfectly okay. And people who are like heavy athletes, like a lot of soccer players or however, they may do some intermittent fasting, but for like having like some high school player or even anybody else who really needs all their calorie input or however, if they're going to be outside from sun up to sundown, it's not really recommended for them either. They can, but they have to really plan around. So those would be, and then like pregnant women, nursing women, it's not really recommended at that time because again, you need to be able to eat every few hours to produce the calories if they needed to be able to feed and create a human. So those would be some, aspects as to maybe fasting would not be the best for you at that time, but to definitely consult your physician. But other than that, most people find fasting to be very beneficial one way or another. Yeah. So what happens hour by hour when we fast? So we're gonna actually kind of talk about that a little bit. So I don't know if you can read this, it's kind of small, but this is, within 90 minutes of eating, okay, your blood glucose levels are peak. How high spikes depends entirely what you ate. So when you are planning to fast, we will go over exactly how to do a proper fast, but you want to be aware of what you are going to eat for your last meal, because if you're going to eat something really high in glucose or carb heavy that's going to turn into heavy glucose in your system, fasting the next morning may not be an option. Just just because you're going to be really hungry. It's that roller coaster effect. And then in 4 hours, all food has left your stomach, your body is done producing insulin, and your blood sugar levels start to drop down. And that's why, you know, when we do eat and you do have to check your blood sugar, you always want to check it, you know, hours after you ate, because if not, you're going to get not really full streaming, but, you know, it's not going to be the proper time for it to digest through. 10 to 12 hours, your digestive system goes to, we'll say, sleep. So that's when it is relaxed. All food is now digested, and your body shifts to focus on the other necessary functions. So, and we're going to keep that in mind too on how to properly end a fast. That's also really important. Within 14 to 16 hours, I don't know if anyone can read this, but the human growth hormone begins to increase. So glucose levels are now depleted and your fat storage is unlocked. Right? Yeah. So it does take some time to get to that point. But then you got your 18 hours, the ketone level spike, a dramatic switch. Okay, so this is where your body is switching into utilizing more of your excess fat storage for energy. And then in 24 hours, your body is in full-on healing mode, damaged cells and protein waste are broken down and recycled for energy. So that's just kind of a look on, you know, if you can get to a 12-hour fast easily, you can try a 14-hour, you can get to a 16-hour, maybe you try for an 18-hour. Some people I do have do 24 hours and they feel amazing. You know, but you have to be adapted. You know, you gotta think, we've been fasting since the beginning of time, okay, feast and famine. So it's not like, you know, we can't do it. We just now live in a life of abundance of food. So we're just not adapted currently to that feast and famine stage. But there is, you know, there's a difference between just not eating, period, and like, oh, I'm fasting, as opposed to actually planning a fast and doing it properly. You don't want your body to go in starvation mode. You know, with people, you end up, you know, we'll say like anorexic or however, but as long as you do it in a proper way, then your body is not going to, you know, left feeling like it's going to need to be in starvation mode. But people who do like the 24 hours plus, you actually do like a little sea salt beverage off to the side, so sea salt and water, and you sip on that throughout the entire time to still make sure that you're getting your minerals and electrolytes and your, you know, some of those nutrients in there to keep the cells going and the body going. Now, I mean, there's people who do like even longer, like 7-day fast. However, you know, they are drinking plenty of water and still getting in different of those minerals and such in, electrolytes in.
What happens at 18?
At 18, ketone levels spike significantly, a dramatic switch as your body begins using your existing fat storage for energy. So this is where you're definitely in that fat burning zone, is in the 18-hour mark. Yeah, doing 16 will definitely, you'll feel some of these benefits, but if you're in it for like certain benefits, then you do have to go a little bit longer. Yeah. So, any questions?
As far as that 24-hour fast, I realize that wouldn't be the predominant form of fast. You were suggesting maybe 16 and 8 are is the more predominant, but would you have a guess for people here as to how often you might try a 24-hour fast? I
have some people who do once a week, once every 2 weeks, and that works for them really well. So that's completely up to you, because I mean, you can do a 3 to 4 day fast, and that's pretty common for a lot of people too. So finding what works best for you. I always suggest for people to start with a 16/8 to see how you feel, because your body gets used to having food, you know, at a timer. If you're one of those like at 7 o'clock, that's, you know, a.m., that's where my breakfast is, you know, and at 7 o'clock rolls around, you're not eating, you are gonna have hunger cues. So you've got to recognize, is this a true hunger, Or is this a hunger because my body is expecting to eat? Do I really need to eat? Can I get away with just drinking some water, and starting my day? If you're starting to get lightheaded and dizzy and nauseous, then that's when you need to obviously eat something. You don't need to be passing out, but that's just, you can slowly adapt your body. Yeah. I've been coaching for 5+ years, and there's only been one person that's just can't fast and it's just that 12-hour mark, just give it up, and that's okay. But everyone else that I've been, and I've coached quite a few people, they've all been able to get past that hump. And because you got your hunger hormones too that have to regulate, so it does take about 1 to 2 weeks to be able to start, fasting regularly without you feeling like you're starving or you have that, hunger cue or however.
What about intermittent fasting just as a lifestyle? Like
Every day?
Yeah, people do that. And I think that's great. So, some people, whatever, you make it easy for yourself. If you're not a breakfast eater, it's why I tell people, well, I'm not a breakfast eater. Should I eat breakfast? I was like, honestly, you're already in the lifestyle of fasting. If you feel like you should eat breakfast, then go for it. I was like, but if you're already not hungry, then it's not going to hurt you to go without. So when you do fasting, it's not like you're restricting your calorie intake, okay? You actually you pretty much get the same amount of calories just within an 8-hour feeding period. So your lunch and dinner may look a little differently. So maybe you have a little bit of a larger lunch. Actually, you're gonna quite find out that you don't need as much food as you think, because you're gonna eat nutrient-dense foods, and that actually you consume less of. Some people are really surprised when they start like, oh, I'm going to eat like 2 lunches because I didn't eat breakfast, and come to find out they ate like half their lunch. So, yeah. All right, so I wanted to share this with you because I found this, and Debbie, you're the reason why I was looking into it, so I'm going to give you credit here. But I was looking at fasting as a therapy in neurological disease. Okay, so this was a study done in New Zealand back in 2019, but I'm just going to read a little snippet here. Fasting, what they were trying to find, it was, how fasting can help prevent neurological disease. And there's still studies and everything being done, but this is what they've gotten so far. They got fasting induces an altered metabolic state that optimizes neuron bioengineering, plasticity, and resilience in a way that may counteract a broad array of neurological disorders. So both in animals and humans, fasting prevents and treats the metabolic syndrome, a major risk factor for many neurological diseases. So it even goes down in here saying in human cancers, including cancers that involve the brain, fasting makes, ameliorates or makes better chemotherapy-related adverse effects that may protect normal cells from chemotherapy. Fasting improves cognition, stalls age-related cognitive decline, usually slows neurodegeneration, reduces brain damage, enhances functional recovery after stroke, and it just keeps going on there.
wow.
But that is what they're studying right now, to actually utilize fasting as a treatment plan for a neurological disease. So I thought that was pretty fascinating, and I wanted to share with you all.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Any questions? Yes.
Well, I am interested in first the 16 and 8 or something like that. So if one is then in effect just basically skipping breakfast,
Yeah.
which is all right, I understand that. But what about coffee, or is there some kind of morning thing that's better as a kind of a way to skip breakfast, do you think? Is that?
I'm glad you asked. So that comes to the next part. You segue, you're good at that. You're good at segueing into the next thing. Yeah, I love it. So now that we know the why, how are we going to do that, right? We just go willy-nilly? But like you said, you have a morning routine, right? So what would be when we do a fast, so there are several different ways. When you talk to some people and some scientists, they say, well, fasting is, as long as you're taking 1/4 of your normal caloric or calorie intake, okay, a day. So that's like between 400 to 600 calories a day, you're still fasting. However, you're still going to be, introducing some inflammation. You're still going to be, putting some glucose into the system. So then you have other scientists and doctors that say absolutely nothing that has a calorie to it. Okay, I myself find it better to just not have a calorie if I am fasting. So things that are non-calorie, if you like herbal tea, water, you can put like lemon in your water. Black coffee usually doesn't have any calories to it. So those are still some things that you can do. Just be careful with coffee with caffeine, because obviously you've got nothing in your body at that point to help with the effects of caffeine. Food to kind of help counteract that. So I wouldn't do more than like 2 cups. Just saying. But you do what you feel good with. But yeah. So when it comes to intermittent fasting, how we should eat, what should we eat before a fast? How are we going to make sure that we can make it those 16 hours?
Go after that steak dinner.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Yes, so making sure you have a good amount of protein. So how much protein should we have? Like we're not trying to store up like bears in the winter, are we? No, like so an actual like a regular serving size for you. So as we had talked about, each one of our palms is different, and it's for your body size, so about the size of your palm for your protein. So what other things should we have with our dinner? Should I have that big thing of pasta, or big old thing of corn?
Salads or something with fiber?
Yes. So fiber. Yep, absolutely. Fiber, and you said salad, so a lot of your vegetables. Getting your carbohydrates from your greens and your low glycemic vegetables. Yeah. Now there's another one. What else should we eat?
Probably your fats, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So your healthy fats. So if you're gonna have that steak dinner, that quality steak, you're gonna have quality fat. Don't be afraid to eat it. Don't be afraid to eat the fat. Yeah, or you put butter with your vegetables, or with your salad you could put avocado in there, because that fat is what's gonna help hold you over.
Is butter a healthy vegetable? Or is butter a healthy fat?
As if it's real butter.
Real butter.
So like country crock is not real butter. You actually just says cream and salt, or just cream on it. Kerrygold's is the best. That's the Irish butter, and it is grass-fed. So if you can get grass-fed butter, that's even better for you. You can taste the difference in it. But that also has your K2 in it, which is good, because we need K2 to help direct the calcium to your bones and not your soft tissue.
What's the ghee? G-H-E-E.
Ghee, that is butter that has doesn't have the lactose. It's been clarified. So people who have like a dairy allergy can
But is
eat
that
it.
good too?
Yeah.
Because I've heard that one, and people intermittent fasting, that's what they can have, or
Yeah.
keto, I guess. Or
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, they'll put that, and I think some will do like bulletproof coffee even with the ghee. Yeah.
I noticed you didn't say plant-based proteins.
Yeah, you can do plant-based proteins. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a carnivore, so I may have slipped my mind. Yes. But yes, yeah, you definitely get, your plant-based protein in. All right, so now we know what to eat before a fast, right? So, and then we kind of talked about what to eat or what not to eat during a fast. Okay, so how do we break a fast? What do we eat afterwards? Because we might be hungry by this point. If it's our first few times doing it, when we're like, it is time.
Maybe some oats
Some oats, okay.
to break the fast. Is that what you asked?
Yeah. So you can do oats. Oats may be a little heavy. So so you gotta think your digestive system has been kind of sleeping for the last 16 or so hours. And so if you put something heavy into it, be like, okay, let's rock and roll. It's still groggy, right? Just like us in the mornings. We may not always be, hitting the ground running, but we're might be a little groggy waking up. So that's another thing, to introduce things that are, that are easy for the body to digest.
Would a smoothie be a good one? Or still too heavy?
Yeah, you can do it. Depends on what's in your smoothie. So you've got, your quality healthy fats, again, they're gonna be nice and easy. So if you're doing a smoothie, with some, like what, Greek yogurt, how do you usually make your smoothie?
Well, I put spinach in mine, and then I do a fruit. So it could be sometimes bananas, but they're awfully, has a lot of sugar. So I add some peanut butter for my protein.
Okay.
And then I put some Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt,
Yeah.
and then I do a protein powder.
So you do that's a nice smoothie.
Very good smoothie.
Yeah, you can try it, but it may, at the very beginning, might be a little heavy.
Okay.
Just like you can try the oats, but it may be a little heavy. So what I usually tell people are things like fermented foods. So things like yogurt, things, like even like cottage cheese, things that are going to be easier for the body to digest down. Also, we've got bone broth. That's, a nice easy broth. Bone broth has more nutrients than other broths, so it just kind of help wake up the digestive system. And then, then put in maybe like some, your fish, your chicken, your leaner meats, your plant protein. That's gonna be nice and gentle in the tummy.
Put some greens in there.
Yep. Yeah, and put
Spinach
some
or
green.
something.
Yeah, like low glycemic vegetables and fruit. Now, just if you do do a lot of greens and everything, your digestive system's kind of been sleeping, and you may have, if you have issues with stomach acid, you might feel a little bloated. So definitely try and wake up maybe with something even more gentle, just because you're gonna have to awaken also, the stomach juices to break down all the food as well.
Do you like eggs at all? Are eggs a good thing to use? Eggs?
Yeah.
Are they hard on your stomach?
They're easier.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a little easier.
Why do greens cause bloating?
Because they're so high in minerals and vitamins. So minerals, is really hard, like a diamond, trying to break that down into your stomach. If you don't have proper stomach acid to do that, it will cause bloating, all that food is just fermenting into your stomach and creating those gas bubbles.
So is it better to take something acidic or some kind of enzyme or something when you eat a salad or greens to help?
So yeah, you can take an enzyme. I tell a lot of people about apple cider vinegar. So if you're take a teaspoon and make sure it has the mother with it. So like a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar mixed in with a teaspoon of water, then knock it down like a shot 20 minutes before you eat. That'll help stimulate the stomach acid production to where when you do then eat, you should be able to break that down a lot easier. Yeah.
Because I've often noticed after a salad, like it's so healthy. Why am I getting bloated?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just because you're very nutrient, vitamin, mineral dense, and it's just you may need a little bit more. Unfortunately, what really kind of bites is that the older we get, the less stomach acid we produce. So doing things like that, and fermented foods, anything vinegary. If you like pickles, sauerkraut. There you go. You can eat sauerkraut before that, before the salad or with the salad, and see if that also will help. Yeah. All right. Any questions?
So then in that 8 hours, so now we've broken our fast,
Mm-hmm.
and you have, say, 6 to 8 hours before you start again. How often do you eat? What do you time in that 8 hours? Do you just cram it all in? What's your eating pattern look after you've broken your fast?
Oh, that's a good question. So a lot of people, like I say, you usually just skip one meal. So that may look a little different. So in here, I've got, a 12 to 8. So basically you're skipping breakfast, you're gonna have your lunch, and then you're gonna have your dinner, say 6 or so, and then, or even at 8 is maybe your dinner, and then you're done eating. Some people do eat one meal a day. If that works for them, that's great. That's, more of that 24-hour fast. But for myself, I usually start eating on days, honestly, I come to the point too, because I've been doing this for a while, that I wake up in the morning. If I'm hungry, I eat. If I'm not hungry, I plan to fast. Because then it's usually, I ate fish and all my vegetables, and I ate really well. I don't eat so good. I'm hungry in the morning and I'm eating breakfast. I really
you take day by day.
Yeah, I do. Now, if you're beginning this, you do need to plan it out to where, because this is actually going to really help with your eating cycle and how you view food. So viewing food more towards as fuel rather than just, other ways of viewing it.
Do you snack at all? Or if you just eat lunch, you just eat dinner, you don't eat anything at 2:30 in the afternoon?
I mean, you can.
I mean,
If you're hungry, yeah, you go a
Okay.
regular eating pattern. Those 8 hours, that is your time to feed.
okay.
So if you're, eating your lunch and, you're eating the bone broth and your smoothie and you're feeling full and everything, you may feel like you don't need a snack. Maybe this is also a good way to write a diary or a food journal. Okay, how am I feeling at this time? I'm gonna start, this is what I ate for dinner. Okay, I am fasting, this is how I feel, this is how I broke my fast. 2:30 rolls around, I need a cheese stick or something. Look back through that smoothie. Is there something that you could add, omit? Was it a little too sugary? Was it, kind of fine to comb it if you don't want, if you're well, I don't feel like I should be needing a snack, but I am.
Okay.
Also look at your activity level too. So if you're coming in, you're working out, and you're in the yard, or you're chasing tiny humans around, or whatever it may be, you may find yourself to be more hungry, and that's to be expected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it normal when you're in a fast that you would feel like sweaty, or like your metabolism is burning more?
Yeah, so there is a shift in your metabolism. A lot of people actually feel cold. So it just, it depends on the person, but I actually have more people tell me that they feel cold because we're not, we're not rubbing up. Like I said, having our digestive system going all the time creates a lot of energy and takes a lot of energy we don't realize. So some people, that are very sensitive, create more of a coldness. But yeah, you might find, if you try it, you can find it a little differently.
I had read once where when you first start, when you can actually feel just sick, almost like you have the flu, like you feel just yucky the first 2 or 3 days, and then your body kind of gets used to that.
Could be detox too.
Yeah,
that's probably it.
So Herxheimer's reaction. So there is, it's called the Herx reaction, because if you have a lot of bacteria in your body and you have a high, sugary, carby, and you don't, maybe not even realizing it, whatever you're putting into your system, you could be feeding other organisms that you don't want to be feeding. So it's a die-off. So when you quit and you actually do a fast and you're not feeding those organisms, they're gonna die off. Okay, when you lower your sugar intake, lower your carb intake, lower everything that might be causing that inflammation and feeding them, they're gonna start dying off, and they're gonna have to go somewhere, which is they're going to recirculate through your body to be able to be eliminated. So yes.
And I thought also it's important to drink a lot of water.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you can flush all that out, so it doesn't have to, you can like reabsorb things from your colon. Like, we don't want to reabsorb, if it's sitting there for way too long because we're constipated, and it's gonna, we don't want. So yes, being able to eliminate is very important. Yeah.
And when you mention the Herxheimer, is there some symptom that you notice when those things are dying off? Does it give you start jerking or?
No, but you don't feel right. You feel like you're coming down with a cold, like what Janet has stated, and your energy will be off and low. Even your sleep can be off. Maybe you don't get the best quality of sleep, and also headaches is another one.
Didn't mention much about fruit. Is fruit it's not in the program? Fruit.
Oh, you can have low glycemic fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fruit has a lot of antioxidants. If you do not get fruit into your body, you will develop a skin condition. You need fruit. So what I do is it's in moderation. So actually think of a serving size. So a serving size of blueberries is actually like a small handful. We think, whole watermelon is a serving size. I would love it if it was. I love watermelon too. However, just a cup of that is a serving size. And when it does come with fruits, it does have the fructose in it. However, it does have all the other minerals that are different. So when we eat other things with fructose that are not fruit, it actually will deplete magnesium from us. But if we're eating fruit, we get the fructose, but we also get their added, minerals and vitamins and stuff to it.
And fiber.
And fiber, that's right. But I always suggest if you're gonna have fruit, eat it with a meal. So that way you're stabilizing that blood glucose levels there. Or if you're gonna have it as a snack, maybe you have a handful of little nuts with it or something like that. Anything but peanuts. Peanuts is not the best of the nuts. But no, I am not anti-fruit at all.
So if I have a smoothie that's pretty much fruit, then I should add some fat.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Half an avocado or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there a substitute for all the peanuts I've been eating that you would recommend?
All the other nuts.
Some almonds really are pretty good.
Yeah, it's, you got the peanut is the bottom of the totem pole, just like tilapia is the bottom of the fish totem pole, it's just.
Well, and pecans, actually, if you're craving sweets, because pecans have a sweetness to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's how you can shift to wanting craving fats. Yeah. Absolutely.
So you mentioned a one-day fast, a fair amount. Is there any experience you have much with your clients? Are you doing these 2 or 3 or 7-day fasts?
You will never see me do a 7-day fast personally. I do have some people who fast for religious purposes. And we just talk about when their feeding time is, and stuff, and making sure that they are getting the accurate nutrients that they need.
So aside from the faithful reason to do it, is there something like a 2-day fast that's really worth exploring?
Yeah, absolutely. So in this here, if you download so this is a free, if you go to Dr. Docker's fasting guide, you should be able to just print out a PDF form, and he actually talks about it in here about 12 strategies to prepare for an extended fast. So this will actually tell you a little bit more into how to do that fast and why. So when you do the longer fast, you're going to get more of the benefits of your body being able to burn energy, or burning fat for energy a lot more. You'll get more of the nutritional ketosis. So yeah, there's definitely benefits to it, more of the healing too. So you got to think, this the stimulation of your stem cells, improving genetic repair, that all happens 18, 24 hour and beyond.
I did a 10-day fast once.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about it.
Well, I don't remember that much about it because it was a really long time ago.
Oh.
But I mean, I'm sure I had something like a guide. I didn't just like stop eating for 10 days. I mean, I followed a protocol, but it was very successful, and I'm lucky. I just don't really get that physical feeling of hunger. Like people say, oh, I'm ravenous, I'm starving. It's not that big of a challenge for me because I don't get hungry. I mean, I love to eat, but it's not because I'm starving. So it was a little easier. But yeah, I had really good benefits from it.
What benefits do you remember the most?
Gosh. Well, weight loss for sure. But
that's a lot.
yeah, I'm talking, it was probably 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there were some, but I was a lot younger. And when you're that age, I mean, I didn't really have any health problems at the time. I think I was just trying to do a cleanse.
Nice.
So,
Would you do it again?
under the right circumstances.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the longest fast you've done?
24 hours. Yeah, I can't go past 24 hours. That's just my own physical. You know, sometimes I don't get the that hunger. Sometimes I do, but I get it. I notice in other ways, just a headachy or just, and that's, you know, I didn't get enough, you know, minerals in. I didn't have my salt water, but yeah, no.
How do you spell his name, the doctor?
It's Jockers. David is his first name.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. Any other questions?
Well, the word cleanse came up. So is that a word that gets tied in your mind with a 24-hour fast? Is there?
I mean, we're cleansing the body.
So that, you know, you hear that sometimes, cleanse, and so this is that.
Yeah, because you are. I mean, your body's working on, you know, cleansing out old dead cells. You know, it's going on repairing. You know, it's repairing your gut and your whole entire body, and you are like cleansing. You're trying to get rid of, like, you know, toxins throughout. So yeah, you can definitely bring that in together.
But I think she had told me earlier, not tonight, but because I asked about a colon cleanse and I forgot the other cleanse.
Yeah, so there are other cleanses out there and everything, unless you feel like you're bogged down or need to do them, because sometimes, you know, you have to really look into those cleanses.
Right, because otherwise, if you're not really having trouble, you shouldn't do it because the food you eat should take care of it, basically.
Yeah, that's basically what I said, yeah. Alrighty. Well, this concludes another successful month of mindful eating class. So thank you all for joining me. If you do have other questions and everything, you could definitely ask me. I'm just going to shut off the camera.
Okay. Thank you.
You guys can enjoy your evening.
How many